Hello everybody and welcome back to game number 2 between Newbee and CDEC Gaming. This should be a good one. Because CDEC taking game number 1 there, Newbee on the back foot. They should come out strong and really try to assert their dominance. Let's head over into the draft. We have entered the lobby. The lag and delay has gone, and Scant, please take me through and end this morning on a good note, please. It's been so long.
Yeah, so I opened the Twitch chat for a while, and there's a lot of hate for Newbee right now. CDEC, I mean, Newbee had, I think, 65% odds on Dota to launch for this match, and people are saying Newbee needs to play more Dota because there's claims thrown around that Newbee have been playing a lot of custom games and random maps rather than Dota. People flaming June, people saying that all TI champions are doomed to fail after they win TI.
Navi Alliance, Newbee, where are you? Well, IG is one of the.
IG's big right now, yeah, but something I just want to say is, firstly, Newbee won TI4 after having a pretty horrendous group stage, right? So this is not a team that like smooth sailed through the entire tournament they won. And secondly, Newbee now this week, since the Chinese scene has kicked off, they've played 2 series. One was a best of 2, one was a best of 3. And they actually lost game 1 in both of them and then recovered in both of them, winning 2-1 and drawing 1-all. So I wouldn't jump to conclusions just yet after they dropped the first game that Newbee's completely failed you and lost your res.
I think it's quite reliant on the draft for Newbee. Like, you see other teams, toying with things, trying things out, but they've got a lot of the individual skill to pull through and turn a bad situation into a good one and actually come back into it. Newbee, I feel like they're one of the more emotional teams out there right now. Once they're down, they're down. They don't have that spark which brings them back in and turns things around. So it does come down to early laning stage drafting. If they get that early dominance, they can get on a roll and steamroll through the game. But if they fall behind, it's a little more rough for them.
I also get the sense that the more experienced teams, because I was saying earlier how LGD had also had this trend until today where they kept losing game 1 and then winning the series. And I think for the more experienced teams, that's just a trend in general in Dota 2. If you lose game 1 against a less experienced team, it's easier for you to adapt and be like, this is how they're playing the game. This is what we'll do to make sure we win. And the less experienced teams find it a lot harder, I think, to just like completely change up the way that they're playing. Sure, that the draft might change, the heroes might change, but the more experienced team can usually be like, well, this is the play style they're following. We've got this plan to deal with it. And more often than not, the play style will follow the same route it did in the first game.
What did CDEC pick up with their SD Leshrac last time we saw them? Because during the qualifiers, they did play this Shadow Demon and Leshrac combination. They had a Shadow Fiend, I'm pretty sure, but I can't remember what they had in their one role.
Was it CDEC? I feel like we saw the Shadow Demon Leshrac and... Oh yeah, you're right.
It was definitely CDEC. It was Garda and Q running around.
Okay, I've just found the game. They had a Clockwork, Sniper, Shadow Demon, Leshrac, and Juggernaut. That was their lineup.
So they didn't have an SF, okay.
The SF was on the other team in that game.
He was the one that got crushed by it.
Yeah, he was the one dying to the Shadow Demon and Leshrac.
But I think CDEC here, along the lines of what I was saying earlier, they're going for that early dominance. They're going to try and put Newbee down early on in the game and then hold on to their lead and see if Newbee can try and come back. They've got some decent heroes to farm the jungle. Batrider and Troll, they can potentially go back and build up their GPM. But Troll, a relatively snowbally hero. And I think this is why we see Newbee go for the 2 defensive supports. Rubik and Earthshake are both with displacement abilities, the Fissure and Telekinesis. Able to stop gangs, potentially open up opportunities to kill enemy heroes, but I think that's mainly to slow down the SD and Leshrac for finding pickoffs.
Yeah, and Newbee have obviously worked out, I mean, they've obviously done their homework, because remember the last time CDEC did the Leshrac and Shadow Demon, there was a Sniper and a Juggernaut in that strategy, and both of those heroes banned by them in the second ban phase. I wonder, in that game, CDEC also ran an aggressive tri-lane with the Shadow Demon, Leshrac, and Juggernauts, but I don't know if they're going to want to do that here. I mean, is safe lane Titans going to do well against off lane Bat, and also do they want to run an aggressive tri-lane against what could be a Troll, Rubik, and Earthshake, which is a really strong defensive tri-lane?
Yeah, I don't know if it's possible. I think if you go for a couple of greedy solo laners, basically, so you put the Shadow Fiend mid, and then you put the Tide off lane, have someone up on the safe lane that can do well against the Bat. So I'm looking at maybe a Slark this game for CDEC. who can just 1v1 bat, and you can find a couple of kills early on with Shadow Demon Leshrac. They've got the setup there for Pounce. But then the SD and Lesh can go mid. They can help the Shadow Fiend out, get him a couple of early levels. They've got Soul Catcher. It amplifies all of the damage from the SF. Raises, right clicks, and there's lots of... Yep, there we go.
And Durka calls yet again. And yeah, I think that even if Shadow Demon and Leshrac aren't doing aggressive trialing, which seems very unlikely in this game, they do want to roam a lot. And so CDEC needed to have a core that's happy to sit on its own after a certain point. And I think Slark's pretty good at that. If you kill the Batrider once or just zone it out for a little while, Slark will do perfectly fine 1v1 after that.
Yeah.
Slark can actually do alright against Batrider 1v1, I think, from quite early in the game.
Oh yeah. Like 1v1, the first 1 or 2 levels, it's a little bit rough. But once you hit level 3 and onwards, Batrider has to leave the lane. Like, it is actually that bad. Slark crushes Batrider.
And Invoker's going to be the last pick for Newbee here. So, is that...
I don't see it being Exort.
Recently, we have seen a absolute return to Quasworks Invokers, I think. Most of the games I've seen in Invoker, it's been Quasworks. But I suppose an Exort Invoker could combine with the Telekinesis or the Lasso or the Fissure.
Or a Lucky Bash from Troll.
At the same time, we tend to see mid-Invokers being Quasworks, and Moo's more likely to run that mid lane and Rabbit that safe lane.
Mm-hmm. And also with the Quasworks, it means that you're forcing SD and Leshrac or one of the two to carry around a dust. Because if they're looking for kills on these squishy heroes, they go into the Invoker, he's level 3, he's going to have Ghost Walk. He'll probably just have that Ghost Walk preemptively invoked. Ghost Walk and Cold Snap just running around with those 2 spells early on.
And Newbee will head straight into the enemy jungle. I'm not sure, does either team want to actually have a confrontation here? Is either team looking for a fight? Because Invoker's not going to do anything at level 1, is he?
Oh my god, I'm lagging really bad.
But neither Shadow Fiend, are you getting uncompressed updates or anything like that?
Yep, uncompressed updates.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to have to go back to the holding screen, guys. I'm sorry, I hope First Blood doesn't happen. I'm going to restart the game and all sorts of this things and stuff. Quit Dota 2.
I'll keep talking through it. And
thank you.
So we have both teams have seen each other. It's 4v5 in the safe lane in the jungle. Doesn't look like there'll be a fight because, like I said, the Shadow Fiend does nothing at level 1. The Invoker does nothing at level 1. There's too many liabilities, and I don't think either team can guarantee they're going to get a good fight. So XZ's Tidehunter sitting at this top lane, hoping to get the bounty rune, and it's quite different to what we saw in June's Tidehunter last game, who had like 500 million tangos. XZ choosing to go boots first and just one set of tangos. And it is going to make it harder for him to just die, that's for sure. The tango build seems to be good against harassments, and maybe June misread that game, the situation last game, because Lion and Slark were never going to harass him, they were always going to try kill him. So actually XZ gets chased off this top rune, and yeah, Muse is going to get that bounty rune, but Shiki will get the bounty rune the bot side as well. So again, we're going to see a mid lane where both mid laners got a bounty rune, so no one getting any advantage over that. But Muse actually gone excellent. Muse gone excellent at level 1.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I guess it's for those combinations that we definitely could see coming up. The Sunstroke.
Yeah, Forge Spirits also helps you out when you're pushing into towers, but I'm not too sure. Now come on game, load. I'm still on the loading screen.
Alright, so...
How's the mid block? How's the mid? Who got the better block out there?
Mu got a slightly better block. I'm not sure if he had anything to do with it, because I mean both the mid players were going for the bounty rune. So, oh, you know what? Actually, it looks like Sansheng actually on the Earthshaker used the Fissure to give Mu a slightly better block. So totally unfair, to be honest.
Yeah, that's cheating.
Shadow Fiend.
So defensive trialing of SD, Leshrac and Slark up against this Batrider. So June on the Bat, aggressive on the Slark, Garda playing that Shadow Demon, while Q on the Leshrac is just stacking, pulling through. Shiki, Invoker mid against Exort Invoker. Invoker doesn't have anything to actually control creep equilibrium. So the Shadow Fiend is going to have a really dominant time just pushing the creep wave back and forth, getting last hits, clearing them out. Banana up on top on the Rubik, while Rabbit's playing the Troll Warlord, going up against XZ on the Tidehunter, while Sansheng is off in the wings with this Earthshaker.
Mu's really not getting a lot here. He's got 1 creep and 0 denies, and as I said, the block was better for him. The first creep wave was on the dire ramp. And despite that, look at the Shadow Fiend. Look at Shiki, 6-5 against 1-0 Invoker.
It's all about the like. Did he go for level 1 raises?
I didn't actually. I'm not sure. I should have paid attention to that.
Because like that would be the key thing for me is if he went level 1 raises, that's when he starts controlling the creep wave. You know, so the initial wave, it was better for Moo, so it was held back to here at mid lane, yeah. Or was it further up the ramp?
A little bit further, a little bit further.
So it was
like
basically on the ramp, and then Moo managed to push it in forward. Because when I loaded in, the creep wave was up here. So I'm guessing Shiki pushed it into the tower, and then Moo pushed it then back out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so yeah, Shiki probably went for level 1 raises, and then pushed the equilibrium back into the tower. So that's what I was saying, he controls equilibrium, so then the lane pushes back towards him. Garda starts things off. Here comes the disruption, and the Soul Catcher with a couple of raises and the Split Earth. Shiki finding first blood. Luckily though, not the courier. Moo already had his boots delivered.
I'm not much of a mid laner, and it's probably the lane I'm least expert at, even in understanding. But what I like about this kind of discussion is that it shows that it's not just about who gets the better block. You know, so often people think, okay, the creep started on that guy's ramp, he's going to win the lane. But as you're saying, there's a way to control the equilibrium even if the creep starts on the enemy ramp by pushing the lane just a little bit further and then getting it to push back into you.
Yeah.
And Invoker doesn't really want to be at level 1 farming under his tower. He also doesn't want to be pushing back.
One of the other ways, like you'll see quite often Vipers do this, is ignore the creep wave for a while, try and do a little more damage to your own creeps, and stand on top of the ramp. And sometimes you can double wave, especially against a hero like Invoker. You can get an extra melee creep and a range creep to actually land onto the wave while a couple of yours stay alive up on top. XZ getting harassed down here by Rabbit and Banana. Not going to find a kill because of that Kraken Shell just blocking off those attacks. But if you can, 1.5 times the wave and force it then under the tower, heroes like Invoker cannot get all those last hits. They struggle to get 30% of them, never mind all of them. Whoa, Banana, what are you doing there?
Yeah, he ran past the tower, and at that stage didn't want to turn back. Traded a little bit with the tight answer.
I've got in, so I may as well stay in.
Oh, Banana with an interesting little move there, I like that. Just in case someone was coming to stack the Ancients, he went and attacked the Ancients a bit earlier than the stack time. Which meant that if anyone wanted to stack those Ancients, they definitely couldn't. You know, you hit them at around 50 seconds, and then it's like, well now there's no way they're going to get stacked.
Oh, nice. Sneaky little devil. Bot lane, Garda getting bottled up here. Shiki taking the bounty rune, while up at top, what was that? Oh, it was the regen on Rubik. We did just see that.
I want to come back to this tight answer, the difference in build, because I think it makes a big difference. Last game, we saw June's offlane tight answer dying twice and then having to go to the jungle. And he had lots of regen. This game, you can see XZ is running out of regen, and he's not happy about that. He has to send himself a solve. But at the same time, he hasn't died yet, and that's because he started with boots. So it's like absolutely because he started with boots. That's why he hasn't died. So very important for the offlane Titans to read what lane you're against. If they're just going to try harass you, sure, get lots of tangos, get lots of regen. But if their plans to kill you, I think boots can often be a better option.
Yeah, Titan heads back to stack up the Ancients, not warded up or anything yet by Newbee. Where is the Batrider? He's all the way back at base as the tier 1 on his lane gets pushed down by the Edict from Leshrac. And he'll probably just go for that 2-1-4 build where you go 2 in Split Earth with a slightly larger AoE, but go for the Lightning. The slow and the nuke damage from that really is strong. Edict level 1 is decent for pushing towers.
Maybe you're going to try for a kill mids.
Yeah, they're waiting for it. Cold Snap. Oh, Shaker going to throw the Fisher out now? No! Too late from Sunshine.
Yeah. My feeling is when I was watching the setup, I think Sunshine was hoping to go first. There were a few seconds where he might have got a nice fissure block off. And so I feel like he might have just been caught off guard when Mew just went in with the cold snap, not ready, because maybe he thought he was meant to go first. They might just go again. He could get a fissure block here. Maybe no.
It's a little bit difficult. Batrider though, disrupted, Split Earth. The Soul Catcher isn't going to land on him. So June, oh, it actually did. Never mind all of those creeps in the way. The Soul Catcher goes straight onto June. Not quite enough damage to finish him off, but that sends him back out of lane again.
Shiki just bullied the Invoker and Earthshake out of the lane on his own in mid lane. He's doing really, really well in Shadowfiend in this game. I mean, look at his CS is pretty. Yeah, his last hits are double Invokers. Never mind the denies, which are even more than double.
Rabbit's doing well on his troll up at top, so he's definitely getting the start that he needs. But Invoker needs levels more than anything. Phase boots, sure, that'll allow him to stay on lane a little bit longer, get some more last hits in. He can't go back into the jungle and flash farm though.
Yeah.
Wow, talking of flash farming, look at this Shadow Fiend down at bot. Well, in his own jungle. Shiki takes down, what, a quad stack of neutrals there in the large camp?
But here I want to emphasize, because we so often say, oh, Shadow Fiend, he can just farm jungle. He was already dominating before he went here. And I think it's really important to say, just because this is the guy who's assumed that mid role, he's new to the team. They lost Maybe, who was their star player, who was often running that mid lane, and Shiki is doing really, really well. He's playing very well at the moment. He's got that invis and they might actually go for the kill on Mew.
There's going to be no ghost walk, so triple raises. He gets one off, the second one, and a right click finished off Mu. Sancheng now, not going to get taken down. The cooldown on Lightning Storm is pretty ridiculously low. He throws down Lightning Storm, then what, 5 seconds later? 4 seconds cooldown.
Yeah, Leshrak's a pretty good hero. That's my analysis, by the way.
Pretty damn good hero. Support, core, or whatever you want to want. Whatever you want to do. There was this sort of contention that because the pushing meta wasn't strong anymore so much, that, you know, obviously Edict was one of his more powerful spells.
And June gets caught out, chased into the Radiant jungle, and cut off by the Slark. And there's actually another stack there that June's just seen, so he might go try and steal it. Because there isn't a stack on his side, is there? No,
there are no stacks made up for him. Tidehunter does die up at top lane, and Earthshaker denies the mid tower.
Well, it's been a pretty long time, and Tidehunter finally does go down, but he's gotten to level 5 beforehand, so now if he does want to move to the jungle, it'll be a lot easier for him. But it looks like the Shadow Demon and Leshrak are going to come towards that top lane, so maybe the Tidehunter will come back as well. No, he's going to the jungle. Okay, so the supports will just handle that lane for now. Tidehunter will go for his level 6 with his Arcane Boots and 3 points in Kraken Shell and 2 in Axe Smash.
Now I was talking about how Slark can 1v1 and really bully this Batrider. He hasn't needed to. The laning phase has not really involved the Batrider at all too much. He's been getting into the jungle and trying to contest the pulls and get in the way of the supports, while Aggressive has just been farming away. He's got 2250, which makes me wonder if he goes straight for the Blink. Midas, you know, he would have bought it by now already. Shadowblade is definitely still a distinct possibility. Or does he go the same as he did last time? Go into the drum Sanj Yasha. He needs some way of dealing with his Troll Warlord, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like just because we've seen the same player in the same hero, like I would default to expecting the same build. But if he wanted the drums, he could get them right now. If you wanted the dagger, you could get it right now. If you wanted the Midas, you could get it right now. So maybe it is the Shadowblade.
I'm not too worried about him. Shiki TP's up the top, but there's a trap laying in wait. Banana going for the tower last hit, but Shiki gonna get the deny. Sunstrike and Fisher gonna drop him low. Requiem does tons of damage onto Rabbit, but Aggressive has joined the fray. He's gonna get a couple of kills here on the support. Shadow Fiend is already down for the count. Rubik and Sancheng now though. The Earthshaker, not long for this world. Rabbit on low HP does no longer have a laner to stay on.
Yeah, it's the Shadowblade. Slark's got a Shadowblade now, the full thing up, and sure they got the SF there, but it's 2 deaths in return and a deny of the tower. I think it's a pretty awesome trade for CDEC.
CDEC smoking up. There's limited mana on this Leshrak though. For some reason I forgot his name.
Do you think Slark hides his Shadowblade here and tries to get a kill before they see it? Or is he just going to go into the lane? No, he's using it straight away to get up to his teammates. Ravage
onto Mu. They throw everything down on that Invoker as Rabbit comes in. They're trying to fight this. Slark with a Shadowblade comes in and takes down Rabbit. A couple more right clicks with the Dark Pact. He will get the kill. No one has died yet from CDEC. As the Split Earth misses, Aggressive doesn't really want to be diving tier 2.
Yeah, I spoke about how Newbee recently have had these series where they lose game 1 and make a comeback, but I think they're being more dominated this game than they were in the first game so far.
Invoker hasn't worked out for them. The Troll hasn't, done that well. He's third in net worth. He's not that far behind. Don't get me wrong. They've taken down the top tier 1, so he's done his job. It just doesn't feel like he fits. You know, there's no combination hero. There's no other heroes that help him go and take objectives. He's been picked because he's Troll, not because he fits into this draft at all.
The pressure's going to be on June this game. June had a pretty terrible first game, and it wasn't all his fault. The lane stage probably was his fault, but he's got the important item here. He's got the important hero. He's the Batrider. He's just got his Blink Dagger. They do have the Sunstrike to combine with him, so he's really going to have to make space for them now. And smoking up right away, as I say that, with the Earthshaker and the Rubik. Invoker with them, but not inside smoke.
I think they just bait him. This is like a desperation play. Moo is going back for the Midas. He's got the Gloves of Haste, but he's still 1,000 gold or 900 gold away from the recipe. 12 minutes in. Garda going to get caught here. The lasso down onto him, so a support kill with the Sunstrike. Almost finishing him off. But now Banana. Shiki's coming in. He's got the mech. He's pretty damn tanky. He can sustain through most of this damage, and right clicks are all he needs.
Yeah, again, that lightning from the Leshrac, adding that little bit of extra slow and helping them finish off the kill. So, I mean, that's... I feel like the issue if Batride has to smoke up with both his supports is that anywhere they make one kill, it's not going to be enough for exactly that reason. Whereas if he could smoke up on his own, or maybe with one person, and then there's other heroes on the map drawing attention from CDEC, then it's a lot easier for them to make a pick-off without any response. But as long as there's a whole lot of heroes missing, if they appear somewhere, then CDEC could respond to it.
Does he go for the kill? Does he go for the courier? Goes for the kill, courier, kill, courier. Doesn't know yet. Yep, goes for June. Firefly's going to pop, but Aggressive's already got the kill. Takes down the Batrider, and is probably going to escape here. I don't know. He's caught between three heroes. They don't even need the telekinesis, so a little bit too deep in there. He took out the large camp, killed the Batrider, but he loses his dominating streak, which gives how much gold away? Rubik gets about 600. The other players getting a couple of hundred each, but it's the experience. 1,500 experience split between these really low-level heroes.
I wonder if Newbee are going to try and get a sneaky Roshan right now. Yeah, it looks like Rabbits is going for it solo. I thought the Invoker would help him. There's no visions, they haven't been spotted out, and okay, well this Shadow Demon's going to use Disruption on himself to scout it out.
Yeah, for a split second, like, what is he doing? Why is he I don't know. Oh yeah, he's got illusions, he's going to send them in. Could have used
they
Shadow
didn't last
Poison.
that long, so
yeah.
He didn't actually get to see directly. But I guess they got the idea, they got the general impression it's Roshan attempt going on, and Newbee at least saw that CDEC saw them and backed off.
Is it smoke time after these Ancients? It looks like it might be. June's Lasso is back off cooldown, so they got the Blink Lasso. But combination plays. We've got Invoker who's level 8. He doesn't even have double Forge Spirits yet. He doesn't have a point in Wex. He's got very little. It's just basically Sunstrike and Cold Snap. Shiki though, lassoed up. The Ravage counteraction though from XZ. Shadow Fiend's up on the cliff, caught in the fire and the flames. I don't know what he can do to turn this around.
He has 0 way to get down. He's got no TP scroll. No one has a Force Staff. He doesn't have a Blink Dagger. So his TP will cool. Oh, someone just passed him in TP. That's what happened.
They're disrupting him. Okay.
I didn't actually know. I didn't know you could pass someone a TP up a ramp. But I guess you can.
You can do it from certain spots. Like there are some really weird. You know how when you put an item down on the floor, that sometimes if there's trees nearby, it glitches out and moves itself. Like 500 range away.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. So where the Slark Illusion is standing, that's one of the spots where you can actually get up onto the ramp. There's also another one over here, actually in the Roche Pit, where you can get up. So this ramp, this cliff isn't impenetrable. So even if Rubik sends you up there, it's still away.
Is he gonna try rush? I mean, what does he do now? You see, he started actually using that TP and he got fissured.
You shouldn't be able to rush from up here.
Yeah, I guess you can't have vision. That's the issue. He tries to Shadow Raise to get some vision. Not gonna work. Doesn't work that way. And they're just gonna keep trying disrupting him, hoping the real one comes down. But this is like ridiculous. CDEC are in an absolute dominant position in this game, and it's already been over a minute, but like 2 minutes, and they've given him another TP scroll now. But if this TP scroll also gets countered, I don't know. I feel like Newbee have actually left it at this point.
They're sending their courier over.
They're gonna Sansheng.
They're picking him out. They're not going to stop it. Okay, Shadowfin gets out. So how long was that? Was that like a minute and a half?
I think it could have been the full 2 minutes even, and yeah, that's made enough space for the Troll Warlord and the Batrider to get a pick off on the Titans on the other side of the map. And while that was all happening, there was almost no value gained on the side of CDEC. Everyone was just like focused around what do we do to help the Shadow Fiend, except the Titans who went to farm and ended up dying.
Well,
I don't know.
Well. It gave time for Moo to get up into that Midas, so he's going to start building up items as well now. Going straight into the Necro units, it looks like. Phase Boots on Exort Invoker is something I've talked about a couple of times before. It's an item that you only ever buy really when you're behind in the lane. When you're struggling to get last hits, you're struggling to harass, you're just struggling in general up against the Shadow Fiend. You need Phase Boots. Usually, you know, you keep brown boots and go travels later on. You go treads or arcanes if you're an old school player. I know Dendi has gone arcanes before an Exort Invoker. Treads is probably the more efficient one, just because you have Exort giving you the raw damage, but building up attack speed is the way to go. But FaZe, they are the comeback item for Invoker. Cheap and easy, but it gives you that extra bit of damage to try and really come back into the lane.
Well, I said June was gonna have pressure on him to make some plays and make some space for his team, and he's the one who put Shadow Fiend on that cliff there. And then after that, while Shadow Fiend was trying to get down, he's the one who went and made the kill on the tight answer. So far he's doing a good job, and you know, trying to prove the haters wrong that you know, he's not just costing his teams. You know, I've seen some comments saying June's cursed and everywhere he goes the team just fails, but I think he's doing really well in this game so far.
Here's their saving grace. Down in the Radiant jungle, Rabbit caught out by aggressive. The Slug gonna try and find a kill, but there's no stun.
So that's a wasted Ravage, and definitely Newbee who have spotted that out. So again, that's gonna make them feel a lot more confident to play freely around the map. And yeah, I'm gonna watch this Batrider because probably he's gonna go with maybe one other person and look for another kill. I guess he goes for Shiki. If Shiki keeps pushing, does he just head there with the Invoker?
That Ravage was awkward as hell. But yeah,
okay, so
Blink on the Shadow Fiend, so it's going to be a little more difficult to kill right now.
yeah, just got that Blink pickup. After buying the Urgot Club, looking like he was rushing the BKB, but stopping off for the Blink. Well, Slark, yeah, Slark's going for SNY again. He started with the Urgot Club, I thought he'd get a BKB, but he's decided he's going for SNY again.
Overall net worth lead about 3,000 for CDEC, but they did have about a 5k lead.
Well, Rabbit is the highest net worth. He's just finished an entire BKB, and I really feel like that brief moments of respite for a couple of minutes where Tyrant had died and SF was stuck on the cliff made it a really big difference to the dynamic in this game. Because before that, I felt like CDEC were pretty far ahead and like had control to dictate the fights, and I'm not so sure now. We see a good Lasso, we see a good Fissure, and Troll gets a BKB off. We might suddenly have a favorable fight for Newbee.
Yeah, Requiem and Razors become less and less powerful when that BKB is up. Then if Invoker goes for one, Batrider goes for one, the magical damage coming out of CDEC, it's the main portion of what they bring in team fights. Ravage, Requiem, get those Razors down. So often when I'm listing out spells, it just so happens that they all have the same letters starting off their names. The triple R from CDEC. But even Slunk, you know, Dark Pact is a magic nuke damage over time. Pounce, magic damage. Sure, he can last long in a fight and deal lots of physical. But everything that starts off, everything that initiates and actually brings the fight to that peak, where Slunk can be doing the guerrilla tactics, running in and out, finding kills here and there. It all starts off with the magic. Yeah, Juno. The blink back from, the jump back even, from aggressive. Telekinesis and Fissure just blocking out Shiki there, as Roshan has been dropped to about a quarter of his HP. Rabbit bashed up near the Rosh pit.
Oh, DD rune.
Who gets it? Who gets it? Denied by Garda.
You know, if he picks up that DD, I wouldn't be surprised if Rabbit just runs into them and fights. The only thing is the BKB would dispel his DD, right? So
yeah.
You wouldn't be able to get that much off of it.
I think if you get the DD, you run into the Rosh pit and finish him off.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
And then if like Tide Blink ravages, then you pop the BKB.
Yeah, and plus Shadow Demon can purge off the DD, so you're not gonna run into a fight with the DD, and he has run back into the Rush pit again. Well,
June is still ready with Lasso. Can find Shiki here and drag him back up onto the Cliff of Doom. The pings come out saying no, nope, not this time. Roshan goes down, Rabbit picks up the Aegis of the Immortal as the Fissure. Just about landing that, but that's a big Ravage from XZ. Catching 3. Is it going to be stolen though? Banana not going to try and steal anything here. Moo goes into the Ghost Walk. There's no sentry or reveal to see where he's heading. And the chase continues as Tidehunter is hunting down Sunchain. Good Fissure to block them off, but I'm not sure if he can escape from Gush. Gets spurted out by XZ. Disruption to stop the TP, and now the right clicks from Shiki.
So, despite losing the Rush and the Aegis, it seems like a good fight for CDEC. I want to say that I talk about this too much, but I want to say that if Newbee aren't dire, there's no chance they get Rush in this game. It's like just not an option at all. And it's like that positional advantage that made it so like easy for them to run back in over and over and over, and made it difficult for CDEC to approach. You know, a bit cautious about how they go forward. That's what made Newbee able to get the rush at all in a game where they're, you know, I said they're coming back into the game, but they're definitely still behind.
Yeah. The Batrider didn't get lasso off, so that was one key portion of Newbee's team fight there. They couldn't get it onto the Shadow Fiend. The pings came out. Leshrak was spam pinging on this cliff saying, guys, pretty sure Batrider's up there. I can see the fire dripping down the cliff. You do not want to get caught back up on that ramp. Don't go anywhere near. So the blink back from Shadow Fiend, everyone then regrouped into this area, forcing Newbee all to run down the ramp and run from the Roche pit to there. And that just opened it up for Tidehunter, jumping back over the river onto that ramp and finding the big 4-man Ravage.
Yeah, June's just come to the Radiant jungle and stolen a bunch of camps. I think one of them might have actually been a stack. The Shadow Demon and Leshrak noticed, but it was a little bit late. And by the way, Dota, who was the Lion last game, is pretty rich on his Shadow Demon as well.
Oh, June with a blink. Aggressive was looking for the sneaky little pounce there, and he is going... Oh. Wait, what? Aggressive went Shadow Blade, Yasha, Ogre Club, and then I saw this recipe and I thought, okay, he's finishing Sanjin Yasha. That's a Manta recipe.
Alright.
Why'd you go Manta here?
I'm not sure. It's a little bit different. I suppose if you've used Manta, it's harder for Bat to grab you because he doesn't know which one is real. Like that could be a reason. I don't know what other reason there could be. And yeah, I was pointing out before, God is pretty rich this game as one is Shadow Demon. He just picked up the Blink Dagger. I was wondering if he'd go for the Blink or the Force Staff. The Blink seems like a slightly more aggressive choice. The Force Staff's got more flexibility in how it can be defensive. You can force yourself closer, but you can also force someone further away. So maybe more interested in initiating these fights on the side of CDEC, because I think that the Blink Dagger is slightly more aggressive pickup in that sense. Especially when you've got a Blink already on Tidehunter and Shadow Fiend, and a Shadow Blade on Snog.
I think it's the Bat factor. Because he can now sit super defensively. He doesn't have to be sitting in that position where he's in range of disruption to stop the Bat Blink Lasso. He can sit really far back and maybe guard 2 or 3 heroes at the same time with Blink. So, it does have the aggressive options of initiating on people, but it's got the hyper defensive options where you are now in a position as a Shadow Demon to stand anywhere you like in a team fight behind your allies and always be prepared to disrupt them if they get lassoed.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I was thinking you can force closer and disrupt as well, but it doesn't really work that way, because you can blink in any direction and bigger distance than force staff. So I think you're right, it is the better choice for protecting against lasso as well. That's a good point.
Smoke up from CDEC though, they're heading through the Run River and they're going to do the full wraparound. June on this Batrider, can he get there quick enough? He's slowly but surely coming down this lane. Yep, they spot him. Here comes the damage, straight onto the bat.
Yeah, quick enough to die.
Yeah, quick enough to die indeed. Rabbit still has the BKB. Sunstrike's going to land onto aggressive. Great play there by Moo. Taking down the Slug with one swift movement as now Newbee. They're the ones looking to turn this around. Rabbit going 1 versus 2 here up against the Tide and the Shadow Fiend. Perched up and slowed down so he can't advance any further.
Yeah, and we were talking about how they spell magical damage that the Troll's BKB.
The big Ravage catching 3 Requiem as well. The damage output is immense here from CDEC. They've taken out 1. Can they finish them off though? The disruption down onto Rabbit. He's got no BKB. He does have another life though. Second time. Can they kill him? He turns back around, fights Cheeky. Damage down. Leshrak stun locked. Rabbit finding kill after kill. Taking down 1. Cheeky gonna fall as well as Moo comes back in with a deafening blast. The second life of Rabbit. Far too much for CDEC to deal with, and they weren't expecting him to just turn back and fight.
And I think that's where maybe the inexperience shows a bit. I mean, CDEC by no means are a young team. I mean, maybe last year you could have said that, but they have less experience than the players on Newbee, and the decision there was just clearly wrong. Right? They thought he's gonna respawn, we'll kill him, and actually he respawned and killed all of them.
Well, yeah, you look at the cooldowns on their abilities. Leshrak's stun was coming off cooldown like 1 second after Rabbit respawned, so there's like a 1 second window there where you realize you will not have stun. Shadow Demon had just used disruption, there was no other stuns or lockdown, and they just won a team fight. There was, well, 1 maybe broke even. There was no real reason to continue going.
Yeah, they thought Trolls already used BKB, and we'll just kill him, but Leshrak exploded before he could even do much, and after that, what is their plan? Shadow Demon didn't have ulti. That's actually what I wanted to point out, by the way. When the troll did BKB, the Shadow Demon Demonic Purge that you pointed out, we were saying how the troll's BKB protects a lot against spell damage, but the Demonic Purge is actually a very, very good response, I think. If Garda keeps that up every time the troll BKBs and uses it on him.
What? I'm just going to come back to Slark and I still haven't seen what this Manta does for him. I'm still not sure what this item choice is for. Maybe there's some split push interaction where he wants to try and send illusions down, bait out the lasso. You mentioned that with the illusions. There's definitely a possibility. Bat doesn't know which one's real, which one's fake. But yeah, right now he's just sending illusions into the meat grinder, getting right clicked down by Rabbit.
Well, the other thing, which is pretty minor, but if Slark does get a good fight and he's Essence shifted a lot, he actually ends up with a very high agility count, and then images can do a lot of damage. But yeah, there's no specific thing he wants to take off with Manta.
Maybe Whirling Axes? You can dispel those with Manta, right? I don't see why you can't.
Yeah, it could be that.
Gonna find June here once again. The Slark pouncing onto him. June, oh man, that poison doesn't quite kill him, but the Purge does.
Yeah, so CDEC, other than that one blunder with the Aegis, I think still playing a close to perfect game. Playing very, very well. They had to deal with their Shadow Fiend getting stuck on the cliff, and that was really frustrating for them. Newbee came back into the game quite in large part due to that, I think. And CDEC fumble a bit with that Aegis decision to stay around and try fight troll his second time and end up dying, but since then I think they are playing really well again. I just worry about what they do to handle the troll, because he's getting more and more farmed. He's pretty far ahead of anyone on net worth, and he's gonna have a Scotty soon.
Well, yeah, you mentioned the troll's BKB quite early on, because he got that around 20 minutes or so. Now that's a pretty big item pick up against the magic damage from CDEC, against the Ravage especially, I feel. Moo is well on his way to the Blink Dagger of his own. In fact, he's like 100 gold away from a BKB. The B words are getting to my brain. Bloody hell. Bastards. Anyway, he's close to his BKB. When they've got these two cores with their magic immunity, they can survive through the onslaught of Ravage, stuns, lockdown, anything.
Yep, so, and even though I said Shadow Demon can use Demonic Purge on Troll, and that's a pretty good counter to the BKB, can't use it on two people. I mean, not unless he buys an Aghanims, and he doesn't look anywhere close to getting there. So, I do think God has played exceptionally well in this series, in the first game and in the second game. His line was on point perfectly in the first game, and he's had some great players on Shadow Demon in this game as well, responding very appropriately to threats, but there's only so much he can do. He can't control everyone. He can disrupt the guy gets lassoed, and then he can purge one of the BKBs, but there'll still be that other BKB.
Time to go Aghanims. Aghanims Shadow Demon is definitely on the cards. Come on, we've got to see it.
Would be nice to watch. Oh, that's a dead me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, BKB does not help you if you get ravaged. And Tyrants are doing well to blink right on top of him.
Yeah.
Because really no chance to respond to that, I think.
Yeah, that is the one time where you cannot, like you said. There was the Invoker standing here and Tidehunter was, overlapping, saying, hello, I've got these tendrils coming out of the ground. Rabbit pops his own BKB, he's still posted up though. Turns back around onto aggressive. The Slark. A little bit worried about what this troll can actually dish back onto him. As Banana steals the Lightning Storm.
Yeah, but the Purge is down now, and Invoker's gonna respawn. I wondered... I think Newbee can defend this. Oh, the creeps are so far away. This is not even necessarily going to become a push.
No, they just went from a kill on the Invoker to maybe try and force the, force the issue onto Troll. They did actually make Rabbit use that BKB charge. So that's down to what, 7 seconds now, getting lower and lower. Which, there's these ebbs and flows of CDEC's game. They're strong, they're weak, they're strong, they're weak. One of the weakest points is when Newbee get their BKBs, but they've become slightly stronger again when Newbee's BKBs get lower and lower in those durations. Shadow Fiend with a Manta as well.
Yep, so they've clearly figured out that Manta's a good item here, and I don't know, I go back to the idea of the single target Batrider being super important, and maybe having Mantas makes it hard for them to burst down one hero, which is what they want to do. I mean, Troll does the same thing. Troll doesn't hit 3 people at once, right? He goes on the one guy. So if there's images to deal with, it's harder to figure out, I guess.
I'm pretty sure it's the Whirling Axes. Because if Troll is up in your face and giving you that miss percentage chance, you don't have MKBs, you don't have the money or item slots to really go for that item. So
But
Manta gives you
they've
like...
got BKBs, right? Don't those do the same?
I guess so. But if you're popping the BKB... like just... Oh. There's all sorts of weird stuff.
So is it just to have those two options so that
Yeah.
they can always take off when they need to?
Maybe. But it also helps you, like, it's a good stat item, it gives you great attack speed, but it helps you split push as well, or just push in general. So now they've got these illusion carries, they can proxy push into lanes. Take tier 2s with illusions, push into the high ground. There's lots of options with these Manta styles.
And how do you feel about XZ stopping off halfway through refresher for Ghost Scepter and his Tyranta?
I think he's sick and tired of this troll.
Yeah. It's got to be that, right? There's no one else he needs a Ghost Scepter for, so... But I think it's reasonable because you could say there's a chance of him not getting Ravage off despite having his Kraken Shell if he gets stunned and permabashed. But with the spells alone, it's probably not enough. So if he can Ghost Scepter, I don't think the spells stop him getting his ulti off. But Newbee again, Dire Side advantage and Aegis advantage. And now we see a trade, but each time Roshan goes down, I think that Newbee come further and further back into this game, and I don't know, are they even ahead now? They might even be ahead now, because this troll is so difficult to deal with, and you have to deal with him twice.
It's difficult to say, like, Rabbit with the BKB, he can walk in and die, then when he comes back to life he's got the magic immunity. It's going to take a big Ravage from XZ, and some exemplary play from the Slark. Actually, if the Slark... Yeah, he's TV back to base. If he can go around and somehow find himself in this area, well, not anymore, now the Newbee are backing up. But, you know, if he can find himself in the ranks of June, Banana, and Sansheng, and cause havoc there, force their spells to be, you know, put down onto the Slark, and then he pops BKB, uses Manta, while the rest of his team deals with Rabbit, or deals with Moo, then the fight could end up being pretty good for CDEC. Otherwise, Newbee are just going to run down your towers.
Slark's got to be careful though, because Shadowblade's not a nice initiation anymore now that the Batrider's got a gem. So if he Shadowblades like around, trying to rope and catch the enemy team from behind, they could spot him out and just kill him, and he'd be isolated from his team at that point.
What's the next plan for Rabbit? Because there are tier 2 standing, this is gold just ready to be taken here by the Troll Warlord. Satanic, Skadi, Sanjin Yasha, BKB on what, 6 seconds? No, still on 7, he hasn't used it since that fight at bot, of course. Next for him.
He can't buy an item. He can't do anything until he uses his Aegis, so I think his plan is just to use his Aegis and leading a push down the mid lane to get this tower. He's almost like daring them. He's like, guys, I'm gonna kill all your buildings, and I dare you to do something about it because, you know, I've got this Aegis and it's gonna bring me back to life.
I don't think you even plan or commit to going an item after the Aegis has expired though, because if you start building an item now that's not MKB, then you've got no item slots to build an MKB, and then Slark and Shadow Fiend, you know, if the game goes long enough, they can build up a Butterfly. If you do go for MKB, that means that Slark and Shadow Fiend aren't going to go Butterfly. It's still a good damage item, but it means that you try to counter out an item that's not going to be actually built up, which allows, you know, Slark to build... Actually, ignore me, Slark has already started on his Butterfly, so more likely than not it will be Rabbit going for the MKB, but I feel like he'll just save up gold for the next 5 minutes or so, 6 minutes, just to see where things go.
You're talking earlier about how they've Newbee have picked a troll without any heroes that troll like benefits too much. There's no one that's a huge right clicker that really likes the troll ulti. And I think at this stage in the game, if they had another call that was like that, they'd definitely be ahead.
Yeah.
But this current troll build that's so popular with like just all the stats and tankiness, I think the troll on his own is actually maybe enough. Put together with the Invoker's summons and Necros and stuff, it's pretty good for sieging actually.
Yeah, and Invoker has that maxed out exort, so meatballs and sunstrikes galore gonna be flying out of here. Just waiting for the 4 spirits to come back off cooldown. Probably pop them in a couple of seconds, because the ones he's already sent out are dead. Ravage, only catching Rabbit, and he's the one with 2 lives. See, Shiki is being lassoed up. June is gonna be the first to fall here with one more right click as aggressive the Slark pops his BKB and bails on that. Banana steals a pounce. Not the best ability to be stealing. Well, last time I said that we saw Rubik pouncing around and telekinesing everybody.
I'm not sure where your camera was, but I think the main reason for the Ravage was actually the Batrider, because the Batrider behind was on the SF before the Ravage. Okay. I think that's why XZ felt he needs to use this Ravage, because they just can't afford for the Batrider to be able to force stuff away with the SF. So the The Bat Rider caught the SF, but before he could drag him out, the Tide Ravage goes off and Bat dies, SF's safe. But actually, Exit ran straight to Fountain and used his Refresher Orb right away, just in case he needs to ulti again soon.
Well, this is the surprise Ravage. Because Newbee at this moment in time, you know, they've seen the progression from Tide and they think, okay, well, he's close to Refresher, but how close is he? They're never 100% sure on when that timing is going to hit. Also the fact that he now has Ravage fully off cooldown. It's time for CDEC to go. They can completely catch Newbee off guard here with an extra Ravage. BKB off cooldown for the Troll, on cooldown for Moo, but in 10 seconds time, he'll have that back up and available. CDEC just seem indecisive. They don't know where to go.
Aegis is gone. So that'll be one thing that CDEC can benefit from, and they'll definitely know it. It's easy to know when the Aegis is gone. It's pretty standard to write down that timing. So right now, at this point, if they can get a nice initiation, I think they go for it, despite the fact that Tide could wait, you know, another 2 minutes to have double ulti. As you said, it's not even obvious that Newbee know Tide has ulti. So CDEC just hoping that someone walks towards them at this point. Maybe the Troll is going to.
He's thinking about it. Thinking. XZ is up on his high ground. Tier 2 is already dead, so there's no real objective to be taken here. There's still a Tier 2 a bot, but the way that Newbee been pushing this lane out, it's so difficult for CDEC to actually get some momentum here. But I think that Newbee should be aware. There's no one defending bot lane. They've got a ward down there so they can see any movements. So they either know that CDEC are smoked, or they're playing aggressively like this. Rabbit, Requiem, can they kill it? Looks like they can. Rabbit now down for the count, 82 seconds with buyback.
He's got buyback.
Sunstrike. Where?
I wonder if Newbee feel forced to buy back and take a fight now. I mean, what do they gain if they don't? Don't they want to abuse the fact that there's no Ravage, there's no Requiem? I suppose it's nice if they can hold without fighting, but it just feels to me like they should be able to get more. If Troll does buy back, they should be able to get more than just holding. But yeah, CDEC are going to go back and not allow them that option.
Shouldn't the onus be on CDEC to force the buyback there?
I think so, but at the same time, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, the Ravage is down, the Shadow Fiend ulti is down. If CDEC force it, it's not clear that they can get the Troll to buy back and get back without dying.
Okay.
You know, if the Troll buys back, they might just lose a fight on the back of that, and so that's why I think it's the safer option to just retreat and be like, okay, fine, you don't have to buy back. All we did is get one Troll kill, but we get away safe because it's not clear we would have won a fight if a fight did break out.
Well, Shadow Fiend has Butterfly now. Slark is well on his way to that as well. But they need to start saving for buybacks. If we actually have a look at buyback status, Shadow Fiend buying up that Butterfly no longer has it. 1,250 gold away from it. While Slark, Invoker, Troll, and Shadow Demon of all people. Although, Garda has been saving up a lot of gold. He has been a farmed ass support. 2,300 gold up on him. He's not as high up the leaderboards as he was before because farm priority has dropped quite a bit. He hasn't killed anyone in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, God, as I said, just had an excellent series. Getting a lot of gold, but also hardly any deaths in both games. I suppose in this game, his team in general has hardly any deaths. But I just think he's been on points and positioned well. Good demonic purges, good disruptions, early game rotations were good. And now we get to see that last item on Troll, but as you said, it's more than likely got to be that MKB since there's are there two butterflies? Well, there's one butterfly and one talisman of evasion.
Yeah.
Team.
I thought Aggressive would finish off the Butterfly, but he feels the need for the Basher. And this will play pretty good against these BKB carriers of Newbee, the Invoker and the Troll Warlord. Batrider is close. Finished, yes. Recipes on the way to the Batrider, so 3 BKBs in fact there. So June now has the opportunity to BKB, blink, lasso someone, and not be caught out by that Ravage like he has 3 or 4 times this game.
But what's gonna happen? We've seen twice Tyrants blinking on a hero that has BKB and ravaging them. What's gonna happen when that plan goes wrong and he uses the Ravage but they use the BKB? Because I mean, it's possible. It's pretty difficult, but if they have vision of them coming in or just like have their finger on it and are waiting for him to blink, I think that could make a fight go really badly. If Tyranta tries to blink in or Ravage on one person and that person BKBs on time. Sure, he's got the Refresher Orb, I guess, so he can still hit a second one, but he's going for the Troll or the Invoker, they're key targets, and they're going to be BKB'd. And then he's got the choice of, you know, do I use the second Ravage while these people are BKB'd? So it's worked for them twice. But if they're gonna keep using that maneuver, it might actually be a risk for CDEC.
Yeah, it's not like you can really disrupt and split Earth anymore. That combination, it was for the early game. The first 20 minutes, you run around, you find kills, but now, who do you target? The Rubik, the Earthshaker? They stand so far back in these fights that they just are not visible to actually target. June, gonna get scouted out here. Aggressive is seen though, the Batrider with the gem. Gonna try and take down the Slog. Yep, jumping forward, waiting for that pounce. Shadow Dance is popped as June right-clicked, bashed, and one more hit. Oh man. He gets up on the cliff, and that was super close. Necrene is gonna chase down. June gonna be counting his lucky stars that he survived with 50 HP.
Yeah, so I've spoken a lot about how Troll's difficult to handle, difficult to kill unless they like all jump on him as 5 and burst him like they did in the mid lane, but another interesting thing is that it's quite hard for Troll to kill anyone. The Shadow Demon standing back with his Blink Dagger, the Eshrak has a Ghost Scepter, Tyrant has a Ghost Scepter, and then you've got your 2 cores. I mean, they've got Butterflies, sure Troll's gonna have MKB soon, but they're pretty strong, they're the ones being protected. You know, Shadow Demon could disrupt them, Slog can get away with Pact, with Manta, with Ulti, with Shadow Blade, and Shadow Fiend as well. He's got the Manta, he's got the mech, he's got the BKB, so Troll's not going to be able to be, it's not going to be just like the one-man Troll show. He's going to have to combine with his teammates to make kills in these fights.
Yeah, definitely. Moo has to pull out all the stops here. Probably going to be a Hex with that ultimate all picked up. I'm not too sure what else he could be going for, really. Skadi, he could go for. Disruption and Sunstrike. Garda going to get caught out. Tries to save himself, but in the end, the Sunstrike, the perfect setup was made. Ravage. Catching one. Banana's the only one now. Deafening Blast. Banana. Going to steal the Ravage, possibly. Turns back around. Steals it. No, doesn't get it off. As Moo tries to get out of this. Ghost walks up. BKB. Newbee. Behind that tier 2 tower, they're not looking too bad right now.
Yeah, this Tyrant didn't have mana to use the second Rabbit.
Second Rabbit now though, 1 to 3. Rabbit Moo caught out. Requiem. Dishing out the AoE to everybody. Rabbit just tries to turn and fight. Echo Slam back in from Sancheng though. Rabbit still fighting. Life stealing through everything, but aggressive. It's just a little bit too strong. Double buyback, triple buyback. Rubik, Troll, Invoker. All returning to this fight. Okay, who else is going to buy back? Anyone else? Shadow Fiend, Leshrac have bought back. Slark, you wanna buy back?
At this point, it doesn't matter to CDEC that they're getting all these return kills, because all of those buybacks mean that now all they need to do is win one more fight. That's it. One more fight and the game will be theirs. And I just want to comment quickly, I've been praising Garda a lot, but the start of that fight, do you see how that started? That was like next level players, I think, because I'm pretty sure that CDEC were thinking exactly what I've been describing, that the enemy team is not going to fall for that Tyrant to blink onto and Ravage track. They're going to be really ready with their BKBs, and so what do? The Shadow Demon actually out of fog blinked onto Troll, and Troll instantly BKB'd. And I don't know, is that a reaction to Tyrant blinking on him? You know, it's just like, someone blinked, quickly, BKB.
Yeah.
And then the Troll's BKB'd. I mean, he's BKB'd, and it's not a Ravage, it's a Shadow Demon that blinks on him. So I think that's like a really brilliant plan, actually. And now what do Newbee do? Are they like, well, they might blink Tyrant to me and Ravage, but they might also trick me into wasting my BKB. do they keep their hand on the trigger for the BKB, or?
I think you have to, because if you get hit by the first Ravage, you're getting hit by the second Ravage, and then you're probably dead. So regardless of who blinks on you, I think you just have to BKB. You've got to take that hit.
So no buybacks on the Dota now, but only a buyback and Slog for the Radiant side, and there is that Aegis on Invoker.
Also the fact Tidehunter does not have Ravage for another 35 seconds. He doesn't have double Ravage for a minute.
Yeah, now's exactly the window for Newbee to get something done. If there ever was a window in this game, it's now.
Oh, they got the lasso back. Slug? No, not Slug. Leshrac? I don't know why I said Slug. Aggressive is in the back end here, just trying to clear out the creep wave. Leshrac gets taken out there, but June has already popped his BKB. Rabbit taking down Rax.
Yeah, and I think CDEC making the intelligent choice, not committing too hard to defend here. Their Raxes in the bigger picture aren't that important. What they know is that the enemy team has no buybacks. Well, is missing their 2 most crucial buybacks and one of the supports. And they need to wait for their important cooldowns and then take a fight. And if they win it, they'll probably win the game. If they were to take a fight here, they could all of a sudden just lose the game.
20 seconds. 20 seconds until double Ravage. Do they try and bait out the play now? Aggressive's getting ready to go in, but he just takes out the creep wave. Hex up on Invoker. They'll TP back and control the rest of their lanes. They got what they came for. Objective acquired. Bot lane of Rax, both gone.
And again, the thing keeping Newbee in this game It's the fact that they're on the dire side and keep killing Roshan. That's what it is. Without that Aegis, without that cheese now, I think it's totally impossible for them to win the next fights. Sorry, I shouldn't speak in these absolute terms, but I can't imagine them winning the next fights if they don't have the Aegis and the cheese.
Mm-hmm. But it's not
I actually wondered, do CDEC wait for the Aegis to run out before they go?
That's a good question.
Will the buyback still be on cooldown?
Well, how long do we have? So another 3.5 minutes. About 3.5 minutes until Roche's, until the Aegis is brought back, and that's going to give enough time for everyone to have buybacks. Everyone in the game.
Yeah. So CDEC can't actually wait, and they need to accept the fact that the Aegis is only on the Invoker. The Troll still ends up buyback, and if they kill the Troll, they still probably do close out the game. Even with Aegis and cheese up there, if Newbee are going to win a fight, it's going to have a lot to do with that Troll. So, Troll goes down early in a fight, that'll probably be it.
Oh, we're not going to walk into anyone here. The smoke up and walking past the Roche pit. Rabbit going towards Ancients. Just missing out on that smoke gang, but it's pretty obvious. Newbee realized bot lane's not being defended. The most natural, it's not really a desperation play. Losing Rax there was an inevitability. Going for a smoke here was just as inevitable. So Newbee fully realizing the capabilities of CDEC, backing themselves up. Moo clearing out creep waves, keeping the momentum going in their favor.
Yeah, and more and more I'm starting to get the sense that there's not going to be a clash before Aegis runs out. There's also not going to be a clash before the buybacks are up again. And if that's the case, Newbee have got the better trade of that entire series of events, because they got a set of Raxes. And despite the fact that they used a whole lot of buybacks, I mean, that's an objective. It's the first set of Raxes any team's taken.
In the grand scheme of things, it's not too bad for them. Actually, how does that affect the net worth graph? Back down to 0.
Yeah, it's... Look, those Raxes won't dictate who wins the game. Aside from the fact that the creeps push in all the time, and so when CDEC go for smokes, as you were saying, it's harder to not be obvious about it. But the overall trade there, which I thought was bad for Newbee with all those buybacks, they ended up getting Raxes, and there hasn't been a response yet from CDEC.
Well, the biggest issue was, Shadow Fiend buying back, Leshrac. They both expended buybacks for no real return. I guess they did push out mid lane, and they kept the momentum going in the other lanes. But I don't know. Imagine if they held onto their buybacks, Newbee pushed into bot lane, and then they either respawned or they bought back at that moment in time. Would Newbee be scared? There's all these mental factors you have to consider. Seeing that buyback happen from a Shadow Fiend, sure he loses half of his souls, but he's still got a bunch of items.
So Slark's finished up the Abyssal Blade, and I'm almost wondering now, even make Butterfly with that Talisman of Evasion? Does he replace it with a different item? Like, the only person whose hits he wants to dodge has an MKB. So, it seems like it's not really doing that much. There aren't a whole lot of right clickers aside from the Troll.
Yeah, it's a lot of gold to be busting into that Butterfly. But what else? What else do you want to go for? A Skadi! He doesn't have a Skadi, so maybe go for that.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty good pickup.
You could go for Satanic, possibly. But I'm not too sure. Over on Newbee's side, do they have a smoke? Yeah, it looks like they do. Earthshaker just waiting, ready for Moo and Rabbit to push out their mid lane. Where are they going? They're pinging bot.
I'm checking the Radiant Courier to see if CDEC's building into anything, and I just see this one Clarity Potion belonging to the Titans.
Why, oh why? Just in case he needs to refresh. Moo, what have you got? Tornado? Where are you going to throw it, though? He jumps in and tries to Hex aggressive, but he gets the Dark Pact off there. Double Ravage onto Moo. Takes down the Invoker. And Rabbit stunned up by the Abyssal Blade. Echo Slam comes in and lands on 2. Slark and Shadow Fiend both caught out. Good disruption though from Garda. Saving the SF and meaning that the Troll now has to back himself up. Pounce, not going to latch. Maybe a lucky bash here though from Aggressive will slow down the retreat. Rabbit is a speedy old man. He's limping a little bit now in his old age, but these pounces, they're not hitting, and Aggressive doesn't have the movement speed to keep up.
And you know what, we were discussing if Slark wants to buy a Skadi or not. Well, there's a perfect case for why he should buy a Skadi, because Troll dies if he has one there.
Moo does have a buyback, and he's got plenty of spells and abilities at his disposal. BKB and Cheese, great team fighting things to have.
It's the same situation as last time, because the Ravages are both down. sure, they could try force the buyback, but there's a good chance that if buyback happens and they're at the base, that CDEC actually suffer some casualties. And that's not what they want. I mean, that even happened in the one fight, right? That ended up in them being raxed. When they did stay around, there were buybacks, and that's how they lost their axes. So, being a little bit cautious about, you know, the idea of forcing buybacks. Very often that's what teams think. You know, an important hero is dead. That automatically means we should push the base and force them to buyback. But you really have to consider what it means if they do buyback. If they do buyback, if you're pushing the base to force them to buyback, you know, is there a plan that guarantees you all get to run away? Because a lot of the time there isn't, and in this game I don't think there is. There's a bat rider of all things, so someone is gonna get caught if you try and force a buyback and then retreat.
Yeah, there's Tornado, Fisher, Bat Rider, Blink Lasso. There's all these long-range halting mechanisms from Newbee that can stop you retreating. Like you said, it's never as clear-cut as run up to the ramp, force the buyback, and then back off. Newbee can find some way to drag you back in.
Shadow Fiend's given up on his mechanism, has now got a Hex. Could also be a very big deal because that long range initiation on the BKB targets before they can use their BKBs can always be significant. Batrider got a BKB now too and running around with 2 gems.
Really? June wants that supervision. They're going to find out the Observer Ward up on this spire. But
ooh,
missing.
Oh, we were talking about this Guardian's Lock and selling the Talisman of Evasion, but instead of wasting that gold, he's made it into a Halberd for now. He might still eventually change up into that Scotty at some point, but I think a Halberd's actually quite a nice item, because again it's like another way that Troll can't do anything when his BKB is not on. So he's got a BKB to dodge the Ravages, but there's also a Shadow Demon that can ult him when he's in BKB, and whenever he's not in BKB, he can just get Halberded.
And it's a 5-second duration on that BKB now, so Rebet has to be very conservative with its usage, it feels. He can't just pop it and then expect to run through fights as rampant as he's been doing before. But here we go again. Roshan, is this the 5th one? 4th? 5th? There's been lots. It must be the 4th.
It's the 4th, I think.
Yeah, because we've had one with cheese, which Moose still has. And now there are 2 cheeses.
Again, I mean, just tell me if you disagree, but if we switch sides, if Newbee are Radiance and CDEC or Dire, are Newbee getting all the Roshans?
I don't think so. Because CDEC has Ravage, which is one of the best Roche defensive abilities in the game. They've got Shadow Fiend, who can find himself... You know, he can stand in this little area here, which is always fogged off. Stand there, if you've got vision of Newbee running in, they have to pop BKBs preemptively. And if they don't, they're going to get ruined by your AoE. So I feel like unless Newbee smoke up and, you know, do sneaky plays, they're not going to get into that Roche pit as easily as that. Yeah, my tongue.
But the interesting thing is that this analysis about the Dire is just at odds with what pro teams are preferring. In this series itself, I don't know if you saw in the lobby at the first game, Newbee chose Radiant. I mean, they're getting close to winning game 2 on the basis of being Dire. Like, to a large extent, that's a very big part of it. But they chose Radiant in the series when they had a choice.
It does come a lot down to drafting though. That's what I mentioned very early on, that Newbee, if they get their draft right, and early game it goes okay for them, then they're in good stead to just take the game. Especially against, you know, CDEC are by no means a bad team. It's just that the level of caliber here, Newbee have a lot of skilled players. It's just that sometimes they tilt. Sometimes that happens.
Well, a game that I think started off firmly in CDEC's hands, dipped a bit. By the way, the initial dip, if anyone's forgotten this now, was a Bat Rider putting a Shadow Fiend on a cliff, and then eventually they got the S of a TP, he got fissured, he was stuck. After that, I think CDEC recovered a bit. There was a second dip when they tried to kill the troll after his Aegis expired, again, to do with the Dire Roshan advantage. After that, CDEC took the driving seat yet again. There was then a third dip when, after a whole lot of buybacks on the Newbee side, CDEC lost their bot racks in the counter push, and at this point, 2 Roshans later, 2 Aegises and Cheeses later, I think Newbee are ahead. It's Newbee's game.
CDEC is still 14,000 experience ahead somehow. Net worth, yeah, sure, there's nothing in it. But metrics, this is kind of like, you know, one of those Lycan games, where the metrics don't really matter too much, because the Lycan always has that ace in the hole, you know, he's always got the opportunity to suddenly be in your base, taking down tier 4s and racing you to the finish, or even running down your racks and bringing them down. Sunstrike?
And also the experience graph matters a lot more earlier in the game. You know, the difference between level 6 and level 4 is much bigger than the difference between level 25 and level 23. If your whole team is level 6 and the other team doesn't have any, that's I mean you're dominating. If your whole team's level 25 and the other team's level 23, like so what?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Troll? Wait, Butterfly? Okay, I guess so. He knows that the opponent don't have any MKBs, and they don't have any slots to get MKBs, so Butterfly definitely a very good option. That double miss percentage chance with Whirling Axes giving 60, and Butterfly 35? 35.
Yeah, I mean he swapped out a S and Y for it. It's going to be better survivability and better DPS than S and Y, so it's just a good trade. If there was an MKB up on the other side, he probably wouldn't have done it, but in the absence of one, it just makes perfect sense, I think.
Sunstrike just being used to scout out here. Maybe do a little bit of chip damage to whoever it catches. But I think it's just mainly, where are they? Is there someone here? Well, let's find out. Rabbit goes to town on that tier 3 tower, as Glyph is popped pretty early there. Double catapults just continue hitting away at that tower. Rabbit and Moo preparing themselves for initiation. They're standing right on top of each other though. Oh. Slug, Soul, Shadowblade, and Full Blink. They're going to jump in. They've got the lasso back. Garda does get the disruption down. Leshrac going to fall here to the tornado in a couple of right clicks. Or not maybe. Force Staff, very well played. Move, forced to pop his BKB. This has been a really messy little scrap.
Well, again, the credit goes to Garda. It has to. If he doesn't get that disrupt off before the Force Staff, Leshrac's dead. 100% dead. But seeing the Bat jump in, and Bat even used Shivas on his initiation, but Garda's still managing to get the disrupt off before the Force Staff, and so all he was pulling back was a disrupted target, and Leshrac managed to live.
I still don't know where this game goes. It's just constantly back and forth. It basically comes down to one tiny misstep from either team. One core hero dying without buyback. Like right now the Slark is 860 gold away from buyback. If he died here by any means, the game would probably just end.
I do think it's Newbee's game to throw at this point in time. If they were to lose, it would be their own fault. Because I mean they've already Raxed aside. The Troll's in a very strong position. There's not a lot that can handle him. And I mean look at it, like they constantly keep getting Aegises. Earthshaker's got 2 cheeses on him. I mean, can you imagine a fight where like they get a break and like just pass him on a cheese? Okay, here, eat some cheese. Like kill everyone up. Like it does seem like Newbee if they play this, if they keep their composure and like have a systematic approach to what they do.
CDEC walking up on the high ground. They found Rubik, but not going to get him in time. The pounce goes down to Rabbit, and the instant Abyssal Blade coupling up with the Ravage. Double Ravage from XZ. Rabbit going to fall here. Hexed up. They're throwing everything they can to this Troll Warlord. Dead for 2 minutes, but he has buyback available to defend its racks. That was a big kill. Like the hero itself that they killed, yes, valuable target. How many cooldowns did you have to expend though? Double Ravage now, your biggest teamfight ability just gone.
And the Abyssal Blade. And again, I think not for the first time, maybe the 4th or 5th time this game, CDEC make an important kill, and I don't think they're in a position to force the buyback. I just don't think they can. If they were to try to force the buyback would come, and they'd lose a fight and probably lose them a draft. So they need to find a way to get those important kills without using everything. But in that case, I mean, you saw the Troll. The Troll was surviving for a really long time. It felt like they needed to use everything. Maybe what it is they need an MKB on either Shadowfiend or Slark, if not both, because it could just be the Butterfly doing all that extra work there. Although the SF didn't use his Requiem, and the one time in the mid lane where we did see Troll get burst on completely is where Tidehunter blinked on him and SF also blinked on him and Requiem right on top of him. So possibly that's the answer. Possibly you use only 1 Ravage or 2 Ravages but no Abyssal Blade, and make sure you get the Ravage on him, the Requiem on him.
I think you need to only use 1 Ravage. Because if you're going for a solo kill on Troll, you need a secondary Ravage to actually take an objective.
Did Shadowfiend hex him there as well?
Yes.
Was it Abyssal Hex and 2 Ravages?
Yes.
Yeah, you can do that if Troll doesn't have buyback. If he has buyback, the only thing you're gonna get out of using all 4 of those disables, your 4 big disables on 1 hero, is the kill itself. It's never gonna move you into an objective if that hero has buyback.
Because yeah, you get a kill and then you are the ones on the back foot. Without the Ravage, your base defense becomes a lot weaker. You can't defend Roshan because you don't have the Ravage, and with about 10 seconds until the big old man comes back to his cave, XZ caught down here. Shiva's lasso, Sunstrike. Just throw a bunch of spells at him. Titan is stuck up on that cliff.
Yeah, they're gonna have bad memories about being stuck on the cliffs over here. But yeah, disruption well timed and allowing the Titans to blink away. This actually we didn't discuss, but I think the Titans had Halberd even before the Slark did. So 2 Halberds, ways to deal with Troll when he's not in BKB. And that's why it's difficult from the newbie side as well. I say that it's newbie's game to throw, but there's by no means like some simple direct way in which they're supposed to win the game. And in fact, they've got the Troll up against both the Shadow Fiend and the Slark. I mean, if we're looking at pure like DPS scaling heroes, it's not that. I mean, I think Newbee are ahead. I think Newbee should be able to win the game, but it's not obvious how they should force that right now, and it's also not obvious how they might get there with more items. The only thing I can think is Roshan, another Aegis.
Well, it's 2 minutes, or well, closer to a minute now until he respawns, so yeah, definitely agree with you. An item pickup that we didn't really cover, I saw this happen a couple of minutes ago, and I was wondering if Moo would go for it. I saw him heading over to the secret shop and wandering around a little bit, but he's gone for the AC on Invoker, which is something we see quite often.
Is that a wasted Ravage?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wasted Ravage. Batrider sort of sneaking towards them, and Tyranta tried to Ravage, and Batrider got away in time, and this is going to all but guarantee that yet another Roshan will go to Newbee as soon as it's up.
Yeah, they saw the bat already coming in, and the Titan has done a pretty good job in the past of just cancelling out that Blink Lasso, but not this time. Not this time, XZ. Sorry, buddy.
Are Newbee really doing this? Are they like not even waiting for Rush? They're just like, there's one Ravage down, that's enough, we're going for it. Because I guess the Troll doesn't actually have space for Aegis, and that's the person they want to protect. So the Roshan's starting to lose value in that sense.
Well, BKB's popped by everyone there. Shiki lassoed up as the Split comes down. But Shadowfiend's dead with a buyback available. He has to come straight back into the fray. I don't know if Cheese was dropped there or something, but Aggressive still battling it up against Rabbit. The Halberd proving its usefulness, but the first Ravage from XZ counters a couple. Sanjing hexed up, but that's a support Earthshaker. 4 members of Newbee still alive and fighting. Kicking away at CDEC, who are trying desperately to defend this mid-racks.
Well, it looks like it's been a successful defense.
For now.
I don't want to speak too soon, but I guess both Ravages down now.
What's
Cheese laid down?
What's Cheese dropped on the floor for a second there? Because I swear I saw it dropped, but I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah.
Like, I know just now it was given over to Sansheng again. But he's still got Blink Echo. Oh man, he goes for this now? No? Aggressive.
I didn't see exactly, but what I think happened is Sansheng was dying, and he dropped the cheese so someone else could take it.
Pretty heads up play.
Not sure. I mean, he could just use it himself when he's dying though, so I'm not so sure.
Maybe he's just holding on to it, doesn't think it's worth it. Alacrity now onto Rabbit though. Fisher gets thrown down, and June blinking in, has Lasso available, but there's no target. Who's he go for? In the back end, XZ. Ghost Scepter does nothing to help you when you're getting nuked down by all this magic damage. Rabbit and Move both fighting out with physical right now, and pushing pretty deep into the base. Into the radiant side of the map anyway. Aggressive. Echo Slam and Chant Totem lassoed up, but good disruption from Garda. Not sure he's going to be able to survive through this. Multiple buybacks now from the Radiant as Newbee.
That's going to be the game.
I don't know. Invoker is brought back. Troll is still alive. Where is Troll? Fighting up against XZ. June dropping low. Another Gush. Another anything from XZ is going to finish him off. Shiki finds a kill on the Rubik in the back end of play.
Is that not? Wow, I thought they would be able to kill the Shadow Fiend again. That's why I'm like calling that's going to be the game, but sure, there's no buybacks left on the Radiant side, but
oh, whoa. Moo buys back and dies instantly. Rabbit is like the only one left here that can actually do something. Aggressive, fighting up. Sansheng dropping super low. Where's the cheese? Where are these items? June has nothing left to give. Rabbit turns back around and fights up against Tidal. It slows him down, and he's going to be able to get something done here as the Purge goes down into the BKB Troll. Rabbit is just man fighting 1 versus 5 right now. Okay, if they kill the Shadow Fiend, yeah, it looks like that is inevitable. One last flame break, and that's 120 seconds without that SF. Aggressive lassoed up. BKB not going to save you from this. Good disruption once again from Garda, keeping the Slark alive a little bit longer as Rabbit's right-clicking everyone down. The Slark, he's getting kills, but can he defend his base? Pounce from Banana, really? Is that what you stole? Aggressive turns back to try and fight. Still some stats. Not going to work out. That is now.
You know what, Circa? I like the fact that I think Newbee stayed in this game the entire game because of the Roshan. And when they finally finish it off, they decided to do it without the Aegis. I like that. It was like, we don't just depend on Aegis. We're now strong enough, we're gonna go, we're gonna take it, and that's what they've done.
So what was that, like 70 minutes into the game, Newbee finally taking the game and claiming themselves a victory. 1-1 in the end, 1 win apiece for CDEC and Newbee. But that's it for us today. The D2CL Chinese action ends now. Later on at 6 PM we have Cap casting the ISO Cup. I've been Durka here in the JD Studios. Thanks for watching. Sorry for, apologies for the technical issues earlier this morning. The VODs will be up sometime later this week once we figure out what's happening there. Joining me, Scant. Thank you, man. Follow him on Twitter at Scansor. Any closing words?
No. Follow me on Twitter at Scansor and start talking more about dire advantage because I just don't know if this thing that pros like of Radiant at the moment is. I don't know if it's all that simple. I think dire advantage is still there.
But yeah, guys, tune in later tonight for the ISO Cup. Should be on this channel, should be on JD Red as long as there's no further issues. But Cap will be casting that. I'm gonna go and sleep or something like that. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day for the rest of the day. And see you tomorrow, possibly.